right here on the Morning Drip. Thank you very much for taking your time to start with your day right here at Look Up TV. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. There's a lot that is happening in the country. If you are within Nairobi, then you do know that we could be getting back to the NMS days within Nairobi, as Johnson Sakaja and the national government have got into a cooperation deal ceding some functions of the county government like drainage, cleaning and garbage collection within the city. This comes at a time when Nairobians have woken up to the worst state of drainage within the county government. As we wake up today, majority of parts within the capital city have received considerable rainfall. And if we go back and see majority of the pictures that we've picked from the ground this morning from the CBD and yesterday, in fact, in some parts of the city like Ruai, we did see some vehicles getting swept away by the floods as a result of the poor drainage within the city. Now, the president and the Nairobi County government have come together and really worked on a platform that is going to enable them get into a cooperation deal that is going to see Nairobi County government get help from the national government in streamlining those particular functions, especially in cleaning and drainage, also extending to other areas that I'll be mentioning to you this morning as well. That's the snapshot of whatever it is that you're waking up to this morning. We'll be looking at some of those trending issues with you this morning that are going to be a pointer into whatever it is that we're going to talk about. But also, that aside, this morning we talk about the state of the youth politics in the country. The long question that majority of us have been asking ourselves is, can the youth make a difference in 2027? In point blank terms, can the youth decide how the country is going to vote in 2027 at a time when the country has gotten into top campaigns getting to the 2027 period? Now, what we do know is that we make more than 75% of the population, which is under 35 years of age, and voters aged 18 to 35 also make majority of the new registrations in every election cycle. Now, you've got to hear that the people who are targeted for registration are the guys between 18 to 35 who make up the majority of the new registrations. Now, if we go back to 2017 and 2022 general elections, youth turnout lagged behind their numerical strength, with voter apathy, disillusionment, and late registration affecting participation. Now, as of 2027, the question is no longer whether young people are many, it is whether they are organized so that they can go in, register in big numbers, and come out to make that change that everybody wants to talk about in a 2027. But also, worrying numbers again back from 2022, because out of 22 million registered voters, only 14 turned out to vote. Now, out of this 14, what you have to know is that only 8 million young people also were registered to vote within the 22 million. Now, you can break down these numbers and say that if only 8 million young people were registered to vote in 2022, then you can bring it down and say that probably out of the 14 million people voted, we do know the number of adults versus the youth, which was 14 versus 8, then you can bring it down to around 2 million people who voted as young people in this country. Now, that's an astounding number, that for us to make a decision, you got to come in with numbers, and those are the ones that we didn't have back in 2022. That's the question we're asking this morning. Have you registered to vote as a young person? And if you've not, what is stopping you from taking that vote to register to vote in 2027? This morning, we speak to an organization called Kabila Vijana. We want to see exactly what they're doing on the ground in terms of marshalling those numbers for the votes in 2027, and also talking about what youth need to do so that they are part and parcel of the ballot and at 2027. Get talking to us at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kia Gesimba. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. Let's take a look at what you're waking up to this morning in your day list this morning so that we can start prepping our conversation points this morning. I apologize for the late reaction. As usual, we're going to begin with the Daily Nation this morning. Here it is. This is where we are. Push for Ruto Uhuru truths. That's what the Daily Nation is talking about. Let's have a look at it. This is what they're talking about. The president told PM Abiy that he had done all within his powers to embrace Mr. Kenyatta and retirement, but all that had proved futile. All right? Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed brokered the talks in Addis Ababa on the sidelines of the two-day 39th African Union Summit that closed on February 15th. Now, that picture right there of former President Uhuru Kenyatta with President William Ruto and Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali on the sidelines of the 39th African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Wait, that's interesting news, because this is Ruto saying here that he's done everything within his powers to embrace Mr. Kenyatta in his retirement, but all that had proved futile. Is that Kenyatta doesn't want anything to do with Ruto. That's what it is. And they met on the sidelines of the African Summit on the 15th. And we did see Ruto actually attend it. And once he attended it, he coincidentally also met one president, Uhuru Kenyatta. As what they're talking about here, the President William Ruto and his predecessor, Uhuru Kenyatta, in recent years have had frosty relations that never thawed, even after the 2022 power transfer. Now, lately, the tension between the two former allies turned rivals has only eased twice, albeit through short-lived public shows of camaraderie in 2024 and 2025, all right? Now, last weekend, Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed tried to unite the duo. Well, the truths hold. That story has been covered in pages 4 and 5. Interesting news that you're going to read here. Yeah? Those guys friends anymore. I mean, we do know exactly how they ended their friendship. And we do know exactly what Ruto has said about the president and what the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, has said about Ruto. It's just for us to watch and see exactly how this goes. And you can also read part of the stories on our social media platforms. I Look Up TV across all of them. Now, State House, Sakaja signed deals to run Nairobi City. I mean, this is been compared as to the return of NMS, if you do remember, in President Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure, where they were in fully operation. They took some functions of the county government. Now, President Ruto and Governor Johnson Sakaja witnessed the signing at State House of cooperation agreement to improve services in key sectors of the county, but insisted the arrangement did not mirror the Nairobi metropolitan style takeover of functions in 2020. Wongo bwana. It's the same thing. It is the same thing. Regardless of how you want it to look, at the end of the day, for every other person who's watching it, it's comparable to what we saw in 2020 when the NMS took over some functions of the state, of the Nairobi county government. It's comparable, whichever way you look at it. All right, this morning also there is a story here on page 7 where ex-soldiers among 33 new Kenyan recruits for the Russian war. Page 7, there's counting heavy losses after airport workers strike. Page 2 as well, and that strike that really affected a lot of businesses and traffic flow at JKIA and also local airports across the country. Proposals to relax rules on licensing teachers. That story has also been covered on page 3. Good. Let's then cross over to the Standard this morning. See what the Standard is talking about here as well. Here we go. There's a major story here is about putting city on sale. All right. Lazima iwak. That is has been his slogan through and through. Governor Johnson Sakaja's dramatic handshake with President William Ruto has sparked up a political storm in the capital. After vowing to make Nairobi work, the youthful politician now stands accused of quietly surrendering core county functions to the very center he once promised to challenge. Critics see echoes of the old NMS, that's Nairobi Metropolitan Services takeover. Allies call it pragmatic rescue, but for residents choking on garbage, traffic and water shortages, the 80 billion shillings deal feels less like collaboration and more like auction. That story has been covered on page 4 and 5 of the Standard this morning. I mean, whatever way you look at it, ni kama haijawaka. If you do remember when he came into office, I mean, everything that he kept on talking about is how the NMS was a bad deal and the county government was supposed to fully take over the running of the city. But for those of us who are in the city this morning, especially for those who passed through Afya Center and some parts of Tomboya and downtown Nairobi, you can see how bad things are, especially after the rains that hit the city yesterday. Oof, smells, garbage, you know. Things are not working. I work, Sakaja. Especially when you go back on your promise, that's how we know that things are not really working. Absolutely. Right, that's your dailies this morning. And if you want to read an in-depth review of majority of this, then you do know that they are covered on our social media platforms. On your enterprise this morning, still is a pull-out within the Standard. You're going to read about why it's best bet for jobs development, that's the services sector, pages 4 and 5, and how farm became the nerve center of digital world. You're going to read that story on pages 4 and 5 as well. Also, this story on border operators ride on e-motorcycles, page 6 as well. All right. Been told that we have the People Daily this morning. We're going to take a snapshot and see also what the People Daily is talking about. Here it is. It's talking about inside UDA's fierce fight for deputy president seat. We spoke this morning, yesterday actually, as well, that ODM as well is gunning for this particular seat. And this man who's holding this seat, that is Kithure Kindiki, has also spoken about it and said, Kiti cha Rais Kiko Ndani. Yeah, government, all right? And these are the top runners for that particular seat. Has Linda Mwananchi caught Ruto and the United Opposition off guard? That's the question that we also asked yesterday. And you can also go back and see exactly what our guests thought about it on Look Up TV across all our social media platforms. On our note, let's wake up this morning then to what is trending this morning. And we're going to start with the first one for Kithure Kindiki. Yesterday, he was addressing residents, and it started raining. As you would imagine, guys will come with an umbrella and try and shield the deputy president. Let's watch this particular clip and see exactly how he handled rainfall yesterday. Let's take a look.
Kwenda mpaka na mausame, wachana na hiyo. Fire si fire. Sasa ukinipatia mwavuli na wananchi nao, kama mwananchi ananyeshewa, si hata sisi tunyeshewe? Ama mnasemaje jameni? Ama mnasemaje jameni? Wacha nione tutam. Hii mvua haiwezi ua mtu. Si mvua ni baraka jameni. Nilikuwa naelezea kwamba tunakazana kuharakisha mambo ya wananchi, mambo ya
Deputy President braving the rainfall to address you. Amesema kama mvua inanyesha na wananchi wananyeshewa, pia si lazima tutanyeshewa. Yeah. All right, let me just go to a couple of your comments this morning. your reactions to this one. This is Lubeko who's saying election theatrics. Sahii hata wanasiasa wanaweza kupikia ugali kwako. We've seen them cook. Si eti wanaweza, we've seen them cook bwana. Ngoja tu wewe kwanza next year hapo January. They will come and help you cook. We've seen them cook and eat with you. Yeah? See it, you not seen it? We'll see it. Yeah? This is a king who's saying, alafu, I'm just going to read. Alafu wana maumbo, wana clap, as if kuna kitu ya maana amefanya. After hapo anachukuliwa na SUVs, taken to a fancy hotel for some hot shower. All right, this is Shadaranks who's saying, fake humility, itamaliza watu. Yeah? Piga picha, who's saying, ninjas are clapping for what? Politicians are the biggest scammers we have. Yeah? Achane mpaka security atembe kwa raia, then aenda alale East Lando. Finally, then this morning, we do have Queen Gambit who's saying, if he wants solidarity with the youth, he should quit his job and remain jobless like most of these people he's addressing. Yeah, kukataa mwavuli ni kazi ya wanaume wote. It's actually true. I share the same sentiment. As a man, you should not walk around with an umbrella. It doesn't look good. Mwanaume ni kunyeshewa. Unatembeaje na umbrella? Aje sasa eti umebeba umbrella. You know, ladies is okay because they can put it in their purse and walk with it. Wewe mwanaume unataka kubeba purse. Umbrella unabeba aje? Mwanaume kukinyesha ni either unanyeshewa ama unaingia kwa hoteli unakunywa chai unangoja mvua iishe. Kama mvua itaisha saa 5 urudi kwa nyumba saa 7 ya usiku. I mean, that's a man. That's an African man right there. Hii mambo ya kubeba umbrella, it doesn't look good on you. Inakutolea gangster points. I was told that yesterday. Yeah, so mwanaume ni kunyeshewa. Na usivae masweta anyhow. Yeah? Mbona DP yako amevaa sweta jana? That's exactly how it is. All right, let's then cross over to the next issue this morning that we have for you this morning. This came yesterday when I was in State House, when Sakaja and Ruto were signing this deal. I want you to watch the president and see how the president was smiling and then immediately stopped smiling. Let's take a look at this clip and then come back and talk about it. I'm just wondering, what was that smile? What was it for? I just watch him again. Completely out of that smile immediately. Yeah, alikuwa anasmailia nani huko bwana? Angalia hiyo smile and then talk up immediately. Yeah. Tuliambia NMS haitarudi. Here it is. Okay, let's look at it. This is G was saying this morning. In his brain, he's like, "Ona hii mjinga naitwa Sakaja." I remember was saying, alikuwa na smile akakumbuka Mudavadi hana kazi. All right, this is Lamek who's saying, and people thought President Uhuru Kenyatta was mad for handing the city over to the general. Nairobi haiku work. So let us have someone who can ensure citizens benefit from essential services like clean and lit streets, roads and safe city. Mambo yote. This is reformed son who's saying, Yekua Ruto na pea Sakaja different document to sign and seat the city. The guy is clueless. Aende akuje vitu alisign when he's powerless. All right, this is Avenue who's saying this morning, Ruto's teeth were all out with excitement until he realized the cameraman was focusing on him. Martin Chage was saying, "Where? He anasmailia pesa ya free." We're going to leave it there. We're just going to leave it there. Yeah? We're going to leave it there. Skip was saying pesa inaenda kuingia sawa sawa, tenda hapa na pale ya clean city. All right, those are Kenyans reacting to that clip. Now, this one, the next one. Hopefully, it's been raining in your county. It's been raining in your state. It's been raining in your town, and that's good for farming, because we've not seen rain since last year at the beginning of December. It's been 2.5 months of dryness. All right, but when the rains come, they come with force, blessings, and otherwise. Let's watch this clip of, I believe these are Ruai residents.
Guy, why? God. Wametoka. Guy.
Unaona maji ilikuwa inapungua. Ile maji ilikuwa juu. Sasa ile maji ilikuwa iko na nguvu, iko na pressure inaenda chini sana. Sasa inaendelea kukua. Tunaona hapa inaendelea kwenda chini.
That is yesterday. Yesterday it rained. If you're in Nairobi, then you do know that from around, what time was that? Rain from around 2 p.m. Yeah, we had rains all the way into the night, and this is what we're facing. Got here, Maiso was saying Nairobi County is a poor drainage city. Just 20 minutes rain, the city turns to an ocean. What's up, guys? Governor Sakaja and government, this is bad. Sasa usiulize Sakaja. Sasa uliza Prezo. The president is taken over the cleaning and drainage within the city. So you'd ask him that question. Sakaja is no longer answerable to this. Yeah. What happens in Nairobi when it rains? Floods all over. Nairobi flooding has no difference with northern eastern counties like Garissa, Isiolo when it rains. This is why yesterday, after short rain, when will we ever realize the Singapore dream? That's somebody who's asking this question, and they go by the name Danny Boy. All right, let's look at another reaction here this morning. There's one here. Water shortages have long troubled residents, but when the rains come, they come unforgivingly. This is Lloyd, who's saying something needs to be done within the city as well. All right. Lucas was saying Nairobi at its best, and the big rains have not even started yet. This is how bad things are within the city. Hopefully, we can get to learn, and we do know our infrastructure really does not support our drainage systems. Hopefully, things change and turn around for the best. Now, the last one for Man United fans, this is not your news. This is for clubs who are in the Champions League competition. Man United fans have been resting for 13 days. In fact, they're going to rest for 18 days before they play again. That's a very small club. Now, this is a competition for the big clubs like Arsenal, Man City, and Chelsea, and Tottenham, and Newcastle, who are still within the Champions League. Now, yesterday, the playoffs for the Champions League started, and Real Madrid was playing Benfica. And there was this incident that saw Vinicius Jr. get into an altercation with number 25, a player. His name was Cristiani for Benfica. They apparently, Vinicius Jr., you can see him running to the referee to report him getting abused, racially abused by Cristiani, and that match had to be stopped. Yeah, because Vinicius Jr. completely refused to go back to the pitch. There was a big issue about it. He refused to go back to play. He sat there for as long as he could and refused to go back to play because he said, I cannot continue playing in a game where I'm getting racially abused. Yeah, that's it. It keeps on happening to Vinicius time again and time again, and hopefully this gets completely solved so we can move away from issues like this in the beautiful game. And Man United fans, if you're just sleeping, then that's exactly what happened. You guys are not going to play it again next season or the season after. So this is not news for you. Nyi laleni, ngoje mcheze na Wolves, na West Ham. Mcheze after 40 games. So this is not your news. This news only touches those teams that are in the Champions League. This is no news for Man United fans. Yeah, small teams. It's news that are touching Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, Newcastle, and Man City. That's it. Man United fans, don't even comment on this. Because you're not playing in the Champions League. We've never seen you in the Champions League. Nacheza aje 40 games a season. So these are my players when you are on holiday. Anyway, quick comments here. I can see Kenyans reacting to this. White was saying, as you can see, Vinny is not the only Black Madrid player on the pitch, but why him? I'm sure he might have provoked the player. No. You can say you can follow the sequence of those events. I don't think he did. Yeah. Looks like Ada was right next to him. Surely he would clarify what was said. I mean, even Mbappe came out and said, you know, he had it, and a lot of players were accusing Prestiani. And Mourinho actually said it, or said, Vinicius, don't celebrate like that. You know, just celebrate normally because you've scored a great goal. That game ended 1-0, by the way. They're waiting for the second leg. Yeah. Yeah, Man United fans, those are called Champions League playoffs. Something that you have no idea about. Anyway, that's exactly what it is this morning. That's what Kenyans are talking about. Majority of these stories have been covered online and Look Up TV across all of them. And our hashtag is at the Morning Drift. You can also be a part and parcel of a conversation this morning. So we take a tiny breather. Once we come back, the question is going to be, can youth decide 2027 right here on the Morning Drift? My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kenya. Once we come from this break, we get right into that conversation. I'll be introducing the guest who will be joining us in the studio.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu, kwa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu, kwa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Welcome back to Look Up TV. In case you are just joining us, this is the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kinyage. Just like we had opened this morning, let me just give you pointers into why our morning conversation today is quite important. Now, you have to know that Kenya's youth now form the single largest bloc in the country. Now, according to national census data, more than 75% of the population is under the age of 35, and voters aged 18 to 35 make up the majority of new registrations in every election cycle. Now, yet this demographic dominance has not consistently translated into coordinated political power. In both the 2017 and 2022 general elections, youth turnout lagged behind their numerical strength, and voter apathy, disillusionment, and late registration affecting participation. Now, we have to know that as of 2027, the question is no longer whether young people are many, but whether they are organized. Now, some of the main challenges that people look at when they are talking about why youth do not come out to vote, top of that is youth unemployment, and that's exactly what we've seen. And for many young Kenyans, 2027 will likely be framed around jobs, cost of living, taxation, and opportunity rather than traditional ethnic alignments. Now, some of the things that are supporting youth that we've seen also, like in 2024, Gen Z uprising in the country, is digital activism that has reshaped the political landscape. Now, social media platforms have become primarily spaces for mobilization, accountability, and narrative control. Now, from online campaigns demanding economic reforms to issue-based youth movements in the country that are challenging governance, decisions, digital spaces are influencing mainstream politics in real time. That's why this morning then we do have those kind of movements that are galvanizing youth ahead of 2027 general elections or even beyond 2027. Let me take this time to introduce to you this morning Kabila La Vijana. The question that we're asking this morning is, can youth decide in a 2027? And it's a good thing because we do have the president, Kabila La Vijana, in the studio this morning to talk to us. Mr. Mbui is right in the studio. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Let's say Happy New Year. I think the last time we were together
was last year. Yeah, it's Happy New Year. I was told you can say Happy New Year even up to December.
Yeah, up to December. We are not late.
Year. That's it. We are not late.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Let's jump in. For any other person who has not been introduced to Kabila La Vijana, can you do an introduction of who Kabila La Vijana is? Tell us exactly what is the ideology behind Kabila La Vijana.
Yeah, Kabila La Vijana, Simba, is in English called the Youth Tribe. It's a national youth movement that has come together. And the background, the reason why we came up with the Kabila La Vijana movement is because we realized that majorly youths have been sidelined not only in political matters, socially and economically. And I thought of why can't we come up with a house, a home for each and every youth, irrespective of the political party that you are in.
Yes.
We find out a solution for the political injustices that youths have been undergoing in this country. We find a solution for social injustices, the economic injustices that we've been undergoing in this country. Because majorly, tunachezwa, we are the majority, but the old guard are managing us. So it's high time all youths come together, we organize ourselves, and we demand what belongs to us rightfully.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when did you form Kabila La Vijana, and why are you inviting all youth irrespective of their political alignments?
Yeah, one thing, Simba, there's a question you've asked, and there's one thing I've got is that majorly or mostly Kenyan youths, we've never been organized to face the political class or to face the old guard. Kabila Vijana was formed in 2021.
That's it.
And this is after the 2018 handshake between the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and the retired President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. The idea basically came after we realized one thing, that after every election cycle, after youths have been used, after youths have lost their lives, after we've lost our properties, after we've been used to campaign for leaders and they are elected, after the handshake, they are forgotten. Nothing comes for us. Nothing is given to us. So that's when the idea came and said, no, I think these people are disorganizing us so that they can manage us.
Yes.
They get what they want. They fight. They use us to fight for what they want. Then thereafter, we are left. So it's high time. I felt that we should have a home for each and every youth, where we shall have a discussion as youths. We shall have an organization that discusses problems and comes with solutions for the youths.
Yes.
That's how Kabila Vijana came.
That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So the question that I have is, what is the long-term vision for Kabila La Vijana? Because all you're telling youth in the country is, let's come together as youth and forge our way forward. But here you're saying, we don't care about your political alignment. No, we don't. So is this a political movement? Because if it's going to be a political movement, the political alignment also becomes a major factor in the people that you're inviting into Kabila La Vijana.
Yeah, Kabila La Vijana is not for the moment.
Yes.
It's a movement.
Yes.
And it's going to be here forever and ever. It's not about I as the president. It's about the youth, the youth agenda. And it is political, it's social, it's economical. We want to touch the three pillars that touch a youth life. we are going to solve the political questions that Kenyan youths have been asking.
Yes.
We are going to solve the social question and the economic question that Kenyan youths have been asking. But there's one thing that I thought of. First of all, let us bring our youths inside. Then inside we shall have a genuine conversation. Because it's very difficult, Simba, to have a conversation with youths outside here who are being managed by this political class, who are being funded by this political class. And one thing I came to realize that they have the resources. We have the mind. They're using their resources to divide us. That's why I decided to form a home that all youths, irrespective of their political parties, can come in. Then we ask ourselves questions while inside. From there we shall forge ahead as one big family. Remember,
Yes.
we are the majority.
Yes.
The IEBC register shows that the majority registered voters in this country are youths. But when elections are done, when voting is done, they come out with the propaganda that we don't participate in voting. The question is, what about this number of young people who in every election we see in these polling stations? Do you want to tell me they don't vote, Simba? Why should we wake up, go register as voters and we don't vote? So there is a propaganda that is being carried out by the old guard to divide us,
Yes.
to show that we don't participate in our democratic right of voting.
Yes.
So that's why we must come inside, have a genuine conversation, a honest conversation. We ask ourselves questions. Then going forward, we work together as a one big family called the Kabila la Vijana.
That's it. Yeah. So even before I start talking about exactly what you're trying to achieve as Kabila la Vijana, for any other person who's listening to you, what does it take to be a member of Kabila la Vijana?
Free.
Yes.
We are registering, people are coming in free. You go to our website, kabilalavijana.com.
Yes.
You register as a member. We have representation, Simba, all over this country, from the ward level to national level. Today, if I want to talk to a youth in somewhere, Kakamega, Wesero, Malava, I have leaders in those wards,
yes,
in those constituencies, in the counties, in the regions, in the 8 regions, formerly provinces. Today we have leaders. If I want to talk to someone in Lam County, I'll talk to Zainabo. I'll call Peterson from Taita Taveta. We talk about youth matters. We have representation even in the northern eastern. So it's free to be part of this family. You know, we don't want to judge. I mean to come up with the charges for you to be a member in Kabila Vijana. We want every youth, so long as you are a youth in this country, you belong to our family.
Yes.
Tunasema wewe ni wa kabila letu, Kabila la Vijana.
Good.
We are one tribe. Yeah.
Now that's clear, Mr. Mbui.
Yes.
So let's tackle the next question.
Yes.
Of why is it important for any youth to join Kabila la Vijana in the country? What is, like today if I join Kabila la Vijana, what is on the table for me? Why am I joining Kabila la Vijana?
One, it's very important to belong to Kabila la Vijana. Number one, we are partnering. We have partners who have come on board.
Yes.
And from probably next month, we're having a meeting soon. We are going to roll out what we call county to county programs, Kabila la Vijana programs. We all know Wauzi that is behind Aisha Speed being in Kenya.
Yes.
They have come on board. We are moving from one county to county. In fact, we are going to meet, number one, all content creators in KLV, in Kabila la Vijana. We are going to empower them. Number one, the reason why we are bringing them inside the house is because the old guard has realized to kobrok kama mavijana. So they use their money to influence the decisions that we are supposed to make, the rightful decision that we are supposed to make. So number one is a KLV, we ensure we empower our youths to have their own money. There is a vacuum in the agriculture sector in this country that youths must participate. We are bringing on board partners. We're going to partner with KLV to ensure that youths get their rightful resources, their rightful money, not from politicians, so that when the time comes to make a decision, we don't make decisions based on who gives us what. It's based on the decision as young people we've decided as KLV. So for you to benefit from KLV, first of all, you have to be a member. You have to register with us.
Yes.
you have to be amongst us. So that when you roll out this program, because one, we have identified areas that we are going to empower our young people. One is through the agriculture sector. Two, the content creation. In fact, our headquarters at Karen, the Promised Land, is a home, is a hub for creation, is a hub for content creation, and it is done free. In fact, the partner who gave us that headquarters, he has everything. If you are a musician, you can go there record. If you are, you do any content creation, you can go there, and you will be guided. Monetization shall be done for free to all our youths. So in KLV, that's why I said we are political, we are social, we are economic. Number one, we want to bring all youth inside. We empower them. We ensure that they have their own money. Then from there, we shall face the political class and tell them it's time for them to give us the way.
Pretty much. You credited in 2021, Kabila la Vijana.
Yes.
What is your target number? How many youth do you want to be part of Kabila la Vijana? Before my next question.
In fact, we want all youth in Kenya. One thing is that, Simba, we have been disorganized. We have seen so many organizations coming up, mostly when we head to election period. We have seen Y47. It was launched recently. I heard the guy got what he got from the politician, he disappeared. We had the Vijana Narao in 2020, towards the 2022 elections. We had the Vijana Naruto. We had so many organizations. We have young people who have come up with the organization, but to embezzle money from politicians for their own benefit. That's why Kabila la Vijana is so different. That's why our focus is not majorly only in political matters.
Yes.
It is wider. That's why we are looking beyond elections, beyond politicians. We can empower our youth through different methods, through different sectors. So KLV, the reason why we are targeting all youths, because they all belong to Kabila la Vijana. It is a tribe. Towards elections, in most cases, politicians have been organizing us. When we head to elections, in most cases, they organize us from where we come from the tongues we speak. Today, we have kingpins. And remember, this country is not a kingship country. But when we go to elections, they start referring to central Kenya, to western Kenya. These are Luya, these are Kikuyu, these are so and so, these are Luo. And it's high time, and in most cases, those who are used to divide Kenyans are these same youths. That's why I said, wait a minute. You are young, I'm young. I have the mind, you have the mind. We have the future is with us. Why can't we have our own tribe where our mother tongue should not describe who we are, but the fight ahead of us, the battle ahead of us describes who we are? And why can't we come up with our own tribe, that's Kabila la Vijana, that brings all youth together? Doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your education background. It doesn't matter who you support politically. It doesn't matter who your mother or your father is. Why can't we have our own home, our own tribe, where politicians cannot use us to divide ourselves?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, which then follows the next question that I do have for you this morning. I mean, we do know in the country, even as we sit now, if you follow the Gen Z protest in 2024, they were all speaking in one voice. But then as we went by, you would actually see how there was a split in the direction that the youth of this country were taking. That in one way or another, even as youth, we need one political voice. That we actually do need one political voice. But Kabila la Vijana is here telling youth, it doesn't matter where you belong. It doesn't matter who you support. Just come on board and be part of Kabila la Vijana so that we can push for a certain agenda. Don't you think that that's where the youth in this country start getting it wrong? Would have been better for you to say, we want the youth who are speaking for or against the government or the powers be to join Kabila la Vijana? Don't you think it's going to be a challenge to put in your voices as Kabila la Vijana when you have an amalgamation of youth who either support or do not support the agenda of the day?
Good. That's a good question, Simba. And it's, you know, I had this conversation somewhere yesterday, and I was telling those youths, I feel it's too late for the youths because we've allowed the politicians to manage us. And Simba, let me shock you. The opposition in Kenya, as it is now, and I was going through an interview I had with you, in fact here.
That's it.
Towards the last elections, and I remember saying, by then I was supporting UDA. I remember telling you, Simba, I feel Uhuru Kenyatta is campaigning for Kenya Kwanza then, and most people dismissed. I remember also I had an interview with Trevor Mbeja at Citizen, and I said the same thing.
Yes.
People dismissed. After election, Babu Wino came and said it was a long con. In fact, he called it a long con. Simba, today I'll tell you, the opposition as it is today is campaigning for 2 terms. And I know majority of people dismiss. The Kenyan politics, the way they are now, we are being managed by the retired president to give his deputy president a 2 term. And that's why I said, as KLV, as Kabila Vijana, we need a long-term plan. You know, you cannot just wake up and change the political landscape at once. It's very difficult.
Yes.
More so when we don't have enough resources. More so when we cannot even sponsor one of us to be in that ballot. It's quite difficult. So that's why today we have an organization, a movement that's coming together to organize ourselves, not for the present. That's why I've said it's not for the moment. It's a movement for forever.
Yes.
That we can accept to lose today, but will not accept to lose tomorrow. We have a plan, Simba. We have a way that we are working as KLV. And mark my words, KLV, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, we'll have leaders from KLV leading this country in top positions.
Yes.
And in fact, KLV shall produce a president.
Yes.
In this country in the next 5 years.
I like your optimism. Let's look at a couple of numbers, and we've seen the trends in this country. Somebody sat where you sit right there, and then he took me through the numbers for IEBC, and this is what he said. And actually, I was speaking to him yesterday. He said, yes, in this country, you'll see that more than 75% of the population is under the age of 35, and in every election cycle, the people are registering. Especially from 2022 to date, there are young people. In fact, those are the ones that are targeted to register. You will find that the people registering to vote in this country are from the ages of 18 to 35. The new guys are supposed to be in this calendar. But then we went back to the IEBC numbers in 2022. So we found out that 22 million Kenyans, in fact 22.5 million Kenyans, registered to vote. And then it was later found out that 14 million adults, those are people who are above the age of 35, are the ones who made up the bigger number, 14 million. The young people in this country were only 8 million who registered to vote, according to the IEBC register in 2022. But then he says, so if only 8 million young people registered to vote, and 14 million of those are adults, came back and told me, now let's go back at it and look at it. Now, what percentage of people, of young Kenyans, do you think voted in this country? He said, if only 14 million went to the ballot out of 22, and we only had 8 million young people registered to vote, it's like you'll be surprised that only maybe around 2 million, 3 million young people went to the ballot to vote, despite of the big numbers that we account for in this country. Now, we went back to the Gen Z protest as well in this country, and then we said, look at how there was an uproar in this country, especially on social media. In fact, social media activism has never been as tough as it was seen back in 2024. Why is it that there is a very heavy voter apathy in this country from young people, that they do not want to be involved, they do not want to register to vote? So how are you approaching that as Kabila Vijana? That you're working with people, number one, who haven't registered to vote or just do not want to get involved to vote?
Simba, we go back to what I've just said, being managed. You know, in Kenya, we've never had a movement like the one that we're having. This is one of its kind.
Yes.
This is the first in this country.
Yes.
The reason why young people were not registering or young people are not participating in voting is because we do not have a structure where we remind them, we speak to them, we tell them the importance of participating in this important exercise. Initially, all young people were left in the hands of politicians. And when a politician realizes that you are the majority and you might make them lose what they desire to have, they will hatch a plan to ensure that you don't participate in removing them. So what they did, that's why Simba, if you look at in most political rallies, young people are used as security officers. If you look at what happens in polling centers, majority of us are used as mobilizers, as security officers, as people who chant slogans for politicians until we forget our role in the society. Yes. That's why KLV has come in to organize. In fact, you said with your own words, you said that are young people really organized to capture power in the near future? That's why where Kabila Vijana comes in. That in the first time in this country, we have a well-structured movement. We have a home for every youth. We have numbers, registered numbers in our website. We have their contacts. We have their IDs that we can communicate to them. We speak to them and we tell them this is the way to go.
That's it.
Tomorrow is a voting day. Let us wake up, go and vote. It's not time to be chanting slogans. It's time to go and make decisions that will affect our future. Mm-hmm. So for the first time, Simba, and I want to promise you in the coming election, you shall see numbers from the young people.
Yes.
We shall see people voting. We shall see young people participating in voting, not only in chanting slogans.
Yes.
Because we have hatched a plan. We have a plan. This time round, we are not rudderless. There's a time they said the Gen Zs are headless.
Yes, actually, that was actually my next question.
Yeah.
That there's this thing about Kenyan young people in this country, that they do not want to be led by a certain leader in this country. I'll give you practical examples of what we've seen across this country. Mm-hmm. I mean, the best example that we have is this gentleman called Morara Kebaso. We also do have the likes of Makure, who try to be leaders of the young people in this country. You know, they came out and said, who told you that we want leaders? They came out and said, we are tribalists, we are leaderless. All we're saying no to the injustice in this country. How are you giving the youth in Kabila Vijana an identity so that they don't start saying, again, we are tribalists, we are leaderless?
You know, you can't come out, Simba, to claim to be a leader of young people on political matters and you're not giving them a solution to the economic problems.
Yes.
You can't be a leader who does not provide solutions to their social problems. You can't be a leader who does not provide solutions to their political solutions. Number one, what our youth lack is empowerment. What our youth lack is civic education. What our youth lack is money in their pocket. So you cannot come from nowhere and say you want to provide leadership. And the manner in which you are coming through a political. At the end of the day, it showed where these people are heading. Where is Makore nowadays? He's in ODM. Dining and celebrating with the same people who did what they did to the Gen Zs. Why is Kebaso Morara? After having meetings with the Kinagashagwa somewhere, and Kenyans realized what his motives were, today, with the same money that we contributed to him,
yes,
he's somewhere enjoying. What we need is a solution provider. That's why anytime, if you listen to our leaders in all levels, what they speak to youth, they tell them that here we identify a problem and we provide a solution.
Regardless of the political alignment.
Of the political alignment.
Yes.
You know, Most of our young people outside here have made the decisions based on what they hear from politicians.
Yes.
They've never been given a platform where they listen and understand what's happening in the political field.
That's it.
So in KLV, we explain to you, we tell you what is ailing this country, and we allow you also to be part of the solution provided.
Pretty much. Just I want us to go for a tiny little breather right here on the morning brief. Once we come back, I'll be asking the President, Kabila Vijana, if indeed we're going to start speaking this youthful conversation about young leaders coming up within the country. What are they doing in Kabila Vijana? Because we've seen how political parties in this country have gone down. Currently, as we speak, youthful leadership, likes of Sifuna, the likes of Babu Wino in ODM, are getting frozen out of the party politics just for expressing their interest in taking up leadership in the country. If Kabila Vijana is going to stand up in the future and present a president in this country, what are they doing to make sure that the youth who are part and parcel of that movement actually come out and support a young person in the country? Once we come back right here on the morning trip, if you have any question or any contribution for the president, Kabila Vijana, then you know exactly what to do. Talk to us. We shall put that question right next to him right here in the studio once we come back.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed the life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
All right. Welcome back to the Morning Drift. I mean, conversations are still going online, and it's a question of at what point can the youth in this country decide a general election? Still in the studio with the president, Kabila Vijana, saying we are not very far away as Kabila Vijana from giving youth in this country that solution. So even before we even go and talk about what we've been talking about offline, a couple of issues here that befall majority of the youth in this country. Number one is unemployment, which remains one of the defining economic realities that are shaping political consciousness in this country. I mean, if you look at it, they're talking about how Kenya's unemployment rate among the young people continues to sit significantly above the national average, with many graduates entering an informal economy that offers survival but not stability. Even government programs like the Development Fund and Ajira Digital, now the so-called Nyota Fund as well, has joined this bandwagon. It has not really ticked for majority of the youth. That the reason as to why majority of the youth in this country are not joining these political movements in the country, are not going out to vote, are not going out to register to vote, is because they know there is nothing good that comes out of the political class in this country, as it were. What is the plan around that, Mr. Mbuyi? So that when the youth are joining Kabila Vijana, they know that this is a movement in one way or another that is going to champion for our rights and demands in this country.
One thing, Simba, we must ask ourselves is that why are our young people giving up? You know, majority of our young people are very sharp, very bright. They understand what they want. They know what they want. But again, if you look at the government programs, for example, Simba, why should someone retire from public service, go around, come through an elective seat, and occupy a seat in parliament at an old age? What's happening with our parents? Let me call them our parents. What's happening with them? Why should someone be fired from one sector, corrupt leader, maybe he has been found with issues, turn around, come back and get elected again? Why is IBC allowing such things to happen? These are the kind of people who are taking jobs that are meant for the young people. These are the kind of people who are taking opportunities that are meant for the young people. Today, if you don't have someone sitting on the highest table, there are positions, there are offices in this country that you will not knock. There are opportunities in this country that you cannot unlock if you don't have someone somewhere. There's this term that in most cases people are using, network connections.
Yes.
What about that young man from the village, that man from Diwa? What will happen from my leader in Diwa, Moses, who doesn't have someone in an office in Nairobi, who sits in an office in Nairobi? What will happen to that young man who has been raised by a grandmother somewhere in the Busia? Let me use Matthew, our vice chair in Western. What will happen to that young man who sits somewhere in Northern Eastern, Turkana, Gikito, who doesn't have anybody in Nairobi? Why is this person going to get those connections, to get these jobs, these urban centers? The system is rotten. Leadership in Kenya has been designed in a manner whereby if you have nobody, you are a nobody. If you don't have somebody to rely on, you will live a poor and a miserable life as a young man. That's why we must come in as KLV, as a movement, have a long-term plan. It's not about this year's, the next year's election. Yes. It's not about today, it's about tomorrow, the next day, next week and next month. We must hatch a plan. That's why we have an action plan. We have our manifesto that runs for 10 good years, where we speak and we have outlined very clearly on what we want. And if we genuinely want to change this country, if genuinely we want to have honest, truthful and forward thinking and reasoning leaders in future,
yes,
Kabila Vijana is a place to be.
Pretty much. Are the youth in this country part of the problem? And I will say this. that even when we go for elections, the youth don't have many options to vote for, because in this country it's either side A or side B that you're supposed to vote for. Do the youth need to be convinced to vote first before they see the reason to register to vote, or they need to be given options first before they are then convinced to go register to vote?
Simba, and I like that question. You know, you've been given two options: die either by hanging or be shot. The end result is death. You have two options: either to elect Ruto or to elect the team led by Gachagua. The end results, same leadership, same style of leadership, no change. So the options that are placed before young people to choose from, the end game is that we are being managed. These people don't want to leave power. That's why today, someone as the retired president is still in politics managing politicians.
Yes.
Because they have their own interest. I was telling someone, Ruto and Uhuru were buddies when you were still toddlers. These people grew together. Who is telling you that Uhuru Kenyatta is not managing the opposition to give his friend the kumi yako and the kumi yangu? So we should be in a position to see beyond as young people.
Yes.
So the option, for me, Simba, I can't blame the young people. The problem is that the options before us, we have options that will not solve anything.
That's it.
So that's why I insist on, let all young people come into this home. We organize ourselves, not for the moment, but for tomorrow.
That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. One thing that is very clear is that when it comes to digital activism,
yes,
for the Kenyan youth in this country, we are at the peak. Somebody was joking with me yesterday that, Simba, you know, in this country, if you were to change the voting system and take into an online voting system, to know that maybe 70% of the youth in this country would actually vote.
Yeah.
That when it comes to online activism, online movement and online mobilization, we've seen youth do wonders in this country. Even towards the end of last year, we're right here in the studio, we were saying some youth just decided to contribute for one of their fellow youth, and you could see the millions who actually went and contributed for them. What is Kabila Vijana doing so that they can tap into this online mobilization that we've seen from the youth in this country and turn this into a tangible resource that then can transform into votes and decision making within Kabila Vijana and outside Kabila Vijana?
And Simba, you know what has built Kabila Vijana up to what it is today?
Yes.
Is online. It's digital. In fact, our restructuring of the movement from world level to national level was done online. In fact, we had our first physical meeting at our headquarters where we had all our leaders, regional, county leaders, and constituency leaders at our headquarters, and they came in numbers. All this mobilization was done through social media. That's why we have brought in partners who understand the digital world. And soon, Simba, I'd like you to be part of this journey. You'll realize, and we'll work with you, you cover everything that we are doing from one country to another. We are going to offer a startup bag for every young man in KLV or young lady in KLV who's in content creation. And this bag will consist of phone and some things that will help them in content creation. And majorly, the reason why we brought them on board is because apart from their content creation, online plays a major role when it comes to sensitizing and mobilization of young people. That's where we are headed. That's why I'm telling you, in the next 2-3 years, we are going to see a movement like no other. So we understand that world very well. And we have expertise who are guiding us, who are leading us towards that journey.
Yes.
And what KLV is today is because of online mobilization.
Yes.
So in future, we shall see this working. We shall use, in fact, we don't want to use social media negatively. We want to make good use of it. We empower young people. We mobilize them. We bring them together. We get the resources through that social media so that we get a good plan going forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the metamorphosis for Kabila la Vijana? Because right now you're saying it is a movement.
Yes.
That is inviting all youth from across the country, regardless of your political alignment, come join us so that we can push for what is better in this country. At what point is Kabila la Vijana going to turn into a party for the youth in this country? Because you're registering right now and a lot of people are following you and coming in to register. At what point would you say now we need a party as opposed to a movement?
We will not metamorphose to a political party, but we'll have a political party for the young people. Kabila la Vijana will remain a home for everyone to come in and organize. We want, after we have had this discussion, discussion as young people in our own house, those who are in the political space, we shall have a vehicle for them. Those who are not in a political space, we shall have a role for them to play from Kabila la Vijana. So Kabila la Vijana is just a big home for every young person that we shall have a conversation. We agree that, okay, wait, Simba, you are into politics. We see leadership in you. Now we want to mentor you, guide you, and provide a vehicle for you. We shall have a political party for the young people. That one I promise.
Yes.
For those who are not into the political things, we shall have a structured way to ensure that their strength comes out to play.
Yes.
Those who are into agriculture sector, that's why I mentioned there's a vacuum in the agriculture sector. Simba today, the average age of those in agriculture who are doing farming is 55 years. That one should worry this country. Today, if you look at most farm produce, the other time I saw in a magazine that there's someone who has harvested tomatoes and he has no market for those, for the tomatoes. Today, Simba, not that people are not farming, not that we don't have farm produce, but the government is saying that we don't have enough food. But you go back, if you go back to our rural places, our parents are farming. So we need to have a structured way that all solutions in all sectors in this country are provided and provided only by our young people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Let's go down on the ground now because Kabila la Vijana is in the process of onboarding youth across the country.
Yes.
What conversations are you having on the ground, Mr. President, that are convincing youth to join Kabila la Vijana currently as it is? Because if it's a movement, it's not just going to be a movement where you're telling guys, come on board. Right now, what conversations are you having on the ground to convince youth to join Kabila la Vijana?
This is the conversation,
yes,
Simba. That, you know, one thing I've kept telling is that our youths are not fools. They are seeing everything that's happening in this country. In fact, they have carried the burden of what's happening in this country. It's just reminding them, wait a minute, whatever that's going on, we can come together, unify, and provide solution to this.
Yes.
If I use your mind, we use another person's mind, you use my mind, we will move somewhere. That's the conversation that we're having. In KLV, it's not about what I say. It's not about what comes from me as the president. It's what comes from the youth. What idea do they have? What solutions do they have? That's what keeps us moving forward.
Yes.
So it's a conversation. It's not a one-man conversation. It's a conversation that's coming from themselves. I had a meeting in Homa Bay with our young people, and I listened to them. And I'm happy because even before I went there, they even had written proposals to different possible partners. They had started providing solutions to their own problems in Homa Bay County. That is the conversation that we're having.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. So let's just like clarity on what Kabila la Vijana is going to be. are you a movement that petitions political leaders in this country to act right, whether at the ward level, whether the national level, or at the county level? Is that what Kabila La Vijana identifies as?
I think, Simba, it has reached a point whereby I can say we are tired reminding grown-ups to do the right thing.
Yes.
And I want to speak to all our young people outside here. Let us not even abuse these leaders. Let us not even have negative comments towards these leaders. In fact, we are tired. That's why the other time, young people will not even fear bullets. You saw what happened at the parliament buildings. People were ready to die for this country. That explains how tired young people are in this country. So it's not time for negative energy. It is, wait a minute. We've reminded you, we've visited your offices, we've spoken to you, but you remain to be the same people, year in, year out. So it's time now, we organize ourselves, we come and tell you to pave way for us. So it's time for the exit.
I want to paint an example of young leadership in this country. And before we went on break, I sort of mentioned to you how they have been received by Kenyans and political parties alike in this country. Do you think that Kenya, as a nation, is ready for young leadership? Because since independence to where we are, young leadership is not a thing that majority of Kenyans and youth themselves have been accustomed to. Is it an alien idea to go and tell a young person that, look, a young person is going to be a president of this country in the next 5 years?
And before even I answer that one, Simba, you know, if you look at what's happening in the political landscape currently.
Yes.
The other time, you saw there was a hashtag that was Sisi Ndio Sifuna. And if you look at how young people received Sifuna, that one should worry the political class. Because no one saw Sifuna as a leader from Western. No one is seeing leadership from a tribal perspective. No young person nowadays looking at political leaders from a tribal perspective. That's why our young leaders are being celebrated across the country. So whoever is imagining to use a tribal card, even in the coming election, we are sorry for them because things have changed. And I feel like the old guard has lost touch with the reality on the ground. We will have a young leader, Simba. And that's what I've told you. In the next 5-10 years, we shall have a president. And this president will come from KLV. He's a young person that will mentor from Kabila La Vijana.
Yes.
We have a plan, we have a structure. Mm-hmm. We understand what we want. And with the minds that I've interacted with the kind of people I've come across in this short journey that I've met our leaders from different levels, I'll tell you for free. We shall have a leader, we shall have a president. A leader will come even from Turkana,
yes,
even from Lamu, even from Taita Taveta. We shall have a president one day. You know, the old guard, if you look at the people in power, you link them with the YK92. If you look at majority of the leaders that we're having, in one or another, they served that movement.
Yes.
And if there's a movement that's going to provide true leadership to this country in the near future, it's Kabila La Vijana.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
In the movement now, because you're fighting for the three areas that are touching youth in this country, the social, political, and economic livelihoods in this country. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What partners, what handshakes are you doing behind the cameras in Kabila La Vijana? Who do you want to work with so that these issues that you want to touch on can amplify your demands and your push as Kabila La Vijana?
One thing, Simba, I've stood and I've promised, and I'll keep that promise. I'm not going to bring any political partner at the moment to Kabila La Vijana.
Is it not a good thing now for you to even extend an arm to political parties in the country those ones that would like to align with your manifesto, say we're pushing for this in this country. So if you are in alignment with that, then you can actually come in and join.
Can you give me an example of a political party that you will want us to partner with? If we talk of UDA, it's messing us. If you talk of DCP, are the same people. If you talk of Wiper, this man has been in power for almost 40 years. Which political party? And that's why we've said that it's a journey for the young people. It's not a journey for the old guard. What you're trying to tell him is to bring the same problem that we want to solve again inside our home, to again start influencing the decision that we are making. If there is a mistake that we'll make in KLV is to bring the politicians into this journey. Yes. They will mess everything. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm very strict. I rather remain broke and run this movement broke than bringing in any politician who will influence the decisions that we'll be making inside. Yes. And whoever, any leader that I realize will partner with any politician to influence the decisions that we are making, will suspend and expel that leader from KLV. Because KLV has a mission, yes, has a vision. We know what we want, we know where we are yes, heading. And it's about us, the young people. Yes. We are tired with the political rhetorics. We are tired with the political leadership that has been provided by those who are in power. Yes. So it's time we take our...
For the youth who are in Kabila la Vijana and they belong to a certain political party, is it not conflict of interest? Where you're saying, well, we are not working with political parties in Kabila la Vijana, but you have youth within that movement who also belong to political parties in the country.
Conflict of interest, Simba. One thing that we allow in Kabila la Vijana is that those leaders who have got political, young people who have got political aspirations, we support them where they are. That's why I've said KLV plays as a home whereby we bring all youth, irrespective of their views, how they view things, from which angle. Inside this house, we organize them, we speak to them. By the time they're outside here, they speak the language of the young people. How many times have we elected young people into offices? We've been having leaders, young people elected to parliament, to senate. But when they're there, at the end of the day, they go against what they were promising. Yes. Do you know the reason? Is because they did not have a home where they're reminded that, look, before we sent you there, this was the agreement. This is what you're supposed to do. So KLV ni mkusanyiko wa vijana wote ndani, whereby we shall be reminding them, look, you were elected through Wiper by us, the young people, to go represent our interest. That's why we shall be having MOUs with all young elected leaders who are members of KLV, that when they go to parliament, they will influence parliament and change things in parliament how we want them to be as the young people of this country.
Yes. Yeah. But just before we step out of the studio, being told that we have to step out, there is a message that I want you to put across to all the youth that are listening to you this morning. And they're saying, well, what is Kabila la Vijana? Why would I want to join Kabila la Vijana? What is the end game for Kabila la Vijana? Could you speak to them? Why are you appealing for them to join your movement this morning?
Yeah, to all young people in this great Republic of Kenya. Your case has been presented. We've gone through your case. And we are about to make a ruling. KLV is your home. Kabila la Vijana is a house that will provide a solution to each and every problem that as young people we are undergoing, be it political, be it social, be it economic. This is not a political party. It's not about the politician. It's about we, the young people of this country. I call upon all young people in this country, get registered. Go to Google, write kabilavijana.com, register as a member. We have leadership across the country, in all wards in this country. Get into the WhatsApp groups. See how discussions are being done there. See how the agenda, the conversation of this country is being changed, and be part of us. This is your home. I rest my case.
Pretty much. So you don't know exactly what to do, just go to Kabila Vijana. If you want to join this movement, then you can also start being a part and parcel of Kabila Vijana in the country. Mr. Mbui, thank you very much for coming, man. All right. Is it going to be youth deciding how we run our country post-2027? That's a question that I can't be able to answer myself. But the President Kabila Vijana is saying, yes, it's time for us to start making our decisions as the youth of this country. Taking back online to the time that you joined us this morning and Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kia Gesimba. I'll see you another day for another conversation. Good morning and goodbye.